A new study shows that even a small amount of penguin guano is enough to scare krill and force them to flee. Hello, and welcome to the HyperLab X channel. Before we begin, we invite you to click like and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to comment below this video. Your opinion is very important to us. Just one penguin can devour thousands of krill in a single meal. But scientists have also found that swarms of zooplankton have learned to detect signs of predators in the water. Scientists have been unable to explain the mysterious plankton movement for years. But now, they seem to have succeeded. The new study was conducted by a team from the Bigelow Laboratory of Oceanology. Scientists focused on studying the movements of krill caught in the Bransfield Strait in Antarctica. The results of the study showed that just a small amount of penguin guano is enough to affect the behavior of the tiny sea creatures. During the experiments, the scientists poured seawater mixed with either algae, penguin feces, or a mixture of both. The team also recorded the seabirds' behavior on camera and then analyzed the footage based on the three-dimensional positioning of the selected krill, as well as swimming direction and speed. The results showed that krill typically swam against the current, and the presence of guano in the water had an immediate effect on their behavior. The scientists found that the krill accelerated their swimming 1.5 times faster than average and made 3 times as many turns in front of large angles. Curiously, the penguin droppings did not only affect the movements of krill. During another experiment, scientists noticed that zooplankton consumed 64% less algae after sensing seabirds nearby. This means that krill make evasive maneuvers so often that they subsequently eat less when there is guano in the water around them. According to Helisey, this behavior is likely aimed at protecting itself from attack by penguins and greatly increases the krill's chances of survival. And those chances would increase exponentially in a flock if their neighbors could detect the same signals and inform each other of danger. The researchers are not certain, but speculate that this response is not limited to penguins. It is thought that the krill are capable of responding similarly to approaching whales and harbor seals. However, as climate change continues to alter global ocean ecosystems, this detection ability may reduce the krill's chances of survival. In today's fast-paced world, it is common for millions of people to relax by watching TV after a long day. However, a recent study by scientists has found that this seemingly harmless habit can have serious consequences for the health of our heart and blood vessels. A comprehensive study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association involving more than 340,000 people in the UK found a link between prolonged TV viewing and an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. Specifically, those who watched more than 2 hours of television daily had a 12% increased risk of developing complications, such as heart attacks and strokes, regardless of genetic predisposition to type 2 diabetes. During nearly 14 years of follow-up, 21,265 participants developed atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, ASCVD, a condition characterized by plaque buildup in the arteries that leads to heart disease, stroke, or peripheral artery disease. People with a high genetic risk for type 2 diabetes who limited TV viewing to 1 hour or less each day were less likely to develop ASCVD over 10 years, 2.13%, compared to those who had a low genetic risk but watched TV for more than 2 hours daily, 2.46%. This finding underscores the potential benefits of reducing sedentary lifestyle to reduce cardiovascular risks. Dr. Kim underscored the significance of these results, stating that limiting TV viewing time may be a critical behavioral target for the prevention of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. It is worth noting that the study participants were predominantly white British, which may limit the generalizability of the results to other ethnic groups. Nevertheless, the link between sedentary behavior and adverse health outcomes has been well documented by scientists. Health authorities, including the American Heart Association, recommend at least 150 minutes of moderate-intensity physical activity per week to neutralize the risks associated with prolonged inactivity. In light of these findings, researchers recommend that people pay attention to their daily media consumption while sedentary and consider incorporating more physical activity into their daily routine. Simple changes such as short walks during breaks or more active types of recreation can help improve cardiovascular health, the authors suggest. According to a recent analysis in the US by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, global sea levels in 2024 have risen more than scientists had anticipated. This underscores the severity of the climate crisis. It is also reported that 2024 was the hottest year on record, contributing to the rise in sea levels. Oceanographer Josh Willis from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory said, "The rise we observed in 2024 was higher than we expected. Every year, something new happens, but one thing remains the same. Ocean levels continue to rise, and the rate of rise is getting faster." In recent years, a key contributor to sea level rise has been the melting of ice sheets and glaciers. Ocean warming can be caused by many factors, including extreme winds, powerful currents, and climate events such as El Niño, which provoke the movement of heat between different layers of the ocean, complicating the situation and creating additional threats. The study data shows that the rate of sea level rise doubled between 1993 and 2023, raising serious concerns among experts. Willis noted that despite sea level rise, individual years may be subject to fluctuations due to natural phenomena. This uncertainty adds to the picture of ongoing changes that may make it difficult to predict future events, the experts emphasized. The result of ocean warming and sea level rise in 2024 was not surprising, as ocean temperature disruption often leads to similar annual fluctuations. He added that since observations began, global sea levels have risen by 10 centimeters, which may seem insignificant at first glance. The study data shows that the rate of sea level rise doubled between 1993 and 2023, raising serious concerns among experts. Willis noted that despite sea level rise, individual years may be subject to fluctuations due to natural phenomena. 4 inches of sea level rise over the past few decades may not be perceived as a serious threat. The problem, however, is that those 10 inches are not the threat itself, but what follows. Sea levels off the US coast are expected to rise by an average of 25 to 30 centimeters over the next 3 decades, with looming consequences for coastal communities. According to climate scientists, working to combat global change requires an integrated approach and the rapid response to emerging challenges, which is important for both governments and society as a whole. Scientists say iguanas probably arrived in the Fiji Islands millions of years ago on a record-breaking raft journey. The lizards may have traveled on a raft of uprooted trees and plants that served as food sources for them during their month-long journey across the Pacific Ocean. Researchers have long wondered how iguanas got to Fiji. Most modern iguanas live in North and South America, thousands of miles from these islands. Scientists previously thought the lizards may have traveled there via Asia or Australia before volcanic activity pushed the Fiji Islands so far away. But new research shows that millions of years ago, iguanas made an 8,000-kilometer odyssey on a raft of floating vegetation, masses of uprooted trees and small plants. The journey is believed to be the longest on record. The iguanas traveled farther than any other land vertebrate that has ever traveled across the ocean, the Associated Press notes. Scientists believe this is how the iguanas got to the Galapagos Islands off the coast of Ecuador and between islands in the Caribbean Sea. They originally thought Fiji might be too far away for such a journey, but in a new study, scientists examined the genes of 14 species of iguanas that live in North and South America, the Caribbean, and the Fiji Islands. The researchers found that Fijian iguanas were most closely related to desert iguanas from North America, and that the two groups split up about 31 million years ago. The researchers created a statistical model using this information and other data about where iguanas live today and how they might spread. It is hypothesized that iguanas most likely came to Fiji from North America,